protects workers.
Well, you absolutely have a point. I mean, this was the complaint of a lot of people in a lot of states as these earlier states would legalize. There were people getting fired at places like Walmart and Target for having medical marijuana because they said, well, sorry, I mean, that might be the thing here, but our corporate policy is different. So you're right. Until they figure that out, that's no great help for people who work. Again, the medicinal thing they should figure out. Recreational, you got to wait till you get home. I don't know what to tell you. Like, you know, I don't come to work high. I got to have a clear head.
But it's not about coming to work high or not. It's about the company dictating what I do when I'm not on the clock, even though it's legal in this state.
Yeah, no, listen, I take your point. It is an issue of your free time, but it's also an issue of, I guess, how long it's in your system. All they care about is what's going on after you punch in. That's all they care about. And if they do random drug tests and they go, well, you tested positive for THC, it stays in your body for a while.
I was going to say, businesses don't want to be held liable for something you do off the clock. So if it stays in your system, and say if you're a delivery driver or you're operating some machinery and you get hurt, the first thing they're going to say is, was he under the influence? And if it shows up, then chances are you are. And then they don't want to have to pay money.
But you are right. But you are right. They're kind of at cross purposes here between state laws and company policy and federal laws.
But it's not chances are that they're right that you were high just because there's THC in your system. You could smoke, every night, but that doesn't mean that you go into work high the next day.
But it's just about what they can prove. They can't prove that you weren't high.
Well, but right, it's not about you being high at work. It's about them doing random drug tests, and it shows up in your system.
Even if you get hurt at work or you cause an accident, shouldn't it be on the company to prove that it was because you were high? Shouldn't they have to come up with a test?
And
should it be on them?
The best evidence would be if they test you and you have THC in your system.
It could have been from a month ago.
It doesn't matter.
Well, they don't. What I'm saying is they don't care. You're right. Two things can be true. You are right, but they don't care because everybody's going to tell them it's from a month ago.
Yeah.
There's nobody who's going to go, yeah, I came to work high. What do you want? I mean, nobody's going to do that. So all they're going to have to do is look at what they have in front of them.
You're the difference between them paying a little bit of money, like if you're not sober, or if you were sober, then okay, you just go on disability or FMLA and then you come back and they pay a little bit of money. But if you were
more like FML, am I right?
Mm-hmm. But if you were, then millions of dollars, and they don't want to pay millions of dollars, so yeah, they will sacrifice you.
But the state of Maine is the only state in the union, and it does actually have workers' rights protection under it, where it's on the company to prove that you were high and that they can't randomly drug test you for marijuana. Why can't every state do this?
I'll tell you what.
Bills up.
As more states legalize this, that may be next. I'm sure there's going to be more people saying exactly what you're saying. But again, look at a place like the Cleveland Clinic. Cigarettes are legal, but they can fire you if you smoke. Like that's their policy. At a lot of hospitals now, they're like, nicotine, can't do it. So, I don't know the how long nicotine is in your body. I don't know anything about that. I don't smoke, but they're like, hey, cigarettes are legal, but you can still get fired for smoking. So, but you're right. The more that more states legalize this, and if Maine has provided a blueprint for that, then I think there's definitely a case to be made there that should, anything that moves any legislation in the direction of workers' rights is a positive move.
I just want to thank you for giving me the platform to make my point.
I always have time to talk to the great Herbie Versmells.
The one and only.
All right. Thank you, Herbert.
I get it now.
Shut up, Bill.
I like that he called him with that name, but wanted to have a very serious conversation. That's my favorite part of that.
I know, right? Hi, I'm Herbie Versmells. I'd like to talk about
cocaine and fentanyl.
Issue 1, Issue 2.
Meth, heroin, cocaine, and fentanyl.
They need to come up with a drug test that is sensitive within 2 hours. That's another thing.
Cocaine and fentanyl.
I don't know how they do that. This is way above my pay grade. But
Meth, heroin, cocaine, and fentanyl. Cocaine.
Now it makes sense. My mom used to buy me hella Mountain Dew. I was a full-blown cokehead / alcoholic for 5 years. Actually, Mountain Dew, as we've established on the show here yesterday, is healthier than the other
healthiest
pops.
pop you can drink.
There you go. It ain't called Jack and Pepsi for a reason. It ain't. Kids drink Mellow Yellow will grow up to enjoy golden showers. They call me Mellow Yellow. Quite right. Hey, Josh.
Yeah.
What, you don't have a funny name for me?
No funny names today.
Let me talk to Richard Fitzinia. He goes by Dick. All right, what's up, Josh?
Hey, so I have a guy here. He comes into my store all the time. He said he works for one of these large drug testing companies. I think it was like LabCorp or one of these pretty popular ones. But he was talking about that their main goal over the past few months, because they kind of anticipated this, was creating a drug test that focuses on all of the other drugs aside from actual THC marijuana. Because a lot of these drug tests cost companies a lot of money,
right?
And that's not what they're looking for. And that's the main thing that was at least explaining to me and my guys down there, is that the main things that they're searching for are not that. So they're not going to necessarily go after the people that are using this recreational marijuana. Now, if you're forklift certified and you wreck their forklift while you're on the clock, they're obviously going to drug test you. And if that's in their system, that's one easy out for them. But that's definitely not their goal in the matter.
Yeah, they're looking for somebody who's like a heroin user or something like that. I mean, they're not looking to pinch. To your point, it'd be cost prohibitive if they're trying to pinch everybody they can for THC.
Yeah, exactly. And aside from that, some of these harder drugs that people are abusing on a regular basis, cocaine and meth and everything, from last I heard, it doesn't stay in your system very long. I mean,
3 days.
These drug tests are only going to pick it up if it's in your system for like 48 or 72 hours or something.
Yeah. Poundcake knows. He's been doing research. He might not have done the drug yet, but he's done some research. He's like, how long cocaine stay in your system? 3 days. He nailed it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Josh. I appreciate it.
Hey, man, meth ain't that bad.
Well, see Josh Gordon's tweet? Remember Josh Gordon?
Oh, yeah.
Josh Gordon was a dude who, boy, he loved weed so much.
Cost him his career.
They cost him his career. Of course, he played for the Cleveland Browns, and he got suspended a whole lot of games because basically ended his days with the Browns, right?
Yep. And then he really never caught on with another team for all that long because
he played for a couple other teams for like a half a season. He plays for the Seattle XFL team now, whatever the hell they're called. But then, the NFL had a very strict substance abuse policy. And so he played 10 games in 4 seasons because he was getting suspended for marijuana use. Josh Gordon tweeted something like, oh, damn, now Ohio want to act right.
Yeah, but it's Ohio wasn't suspending you. It was the NFL.
Right. The NFL was suspending you. Oh, Josh Gordon. Yeah, he plays for the Seattle, I don't know. What's the team? The Seattle Sea Dragons. Drafted by the Browns. Played for the Pats, Seahawks. So they already knew him in Seattle. He played for that fan-controlled football league. I don't even know if that's still a thing.
I don't think so.
Isn't that where Johnny Manziel went?
Yeah, he went there for a little bit, but I don't think that lasted very long at all.
He played for the Zappers. And then the Chiefs picked him up, and the Titans picked him up. I mean, he made the rounds.
Mm-hmm.
But currently he's playing for the Seattle Sea Dragons.
If he could have stayed on the field, he would have been one of the best. He was incredible.
Very, very good player. Just couldn't get it together. Let's talk about Disney and Hulu merging this coming spring. So for people who have, I'm sure they'll be putting out more info about that, but in advance of the SAG-AFTRA strike ending Bob Iger, who's the head of Disney, said that since they bought the controlling interest in Hulu, they bought Comcast's stake in Hulu, so now it's wholly owned by Disney, that they're going to merge both of those services and apps. So next spring, you're only going to be paying for one of them. I don't know what that means as far as like content licensing goes. But not to be outdone, NASA has dropped their own streaming service. Now, this is something that would be educational, right? Like your kids could be glued to this. And it's publicly funded. It's not even going to cost you anything. It's a free, NASA Plus is a free streaming service. This is pretty worthwhile, I think. They're going to have all kinds of fun stuff on there. Ad-free, no cost, family-friendly streaming service. So you're going to get like live feeds if you're somebody who's transfixed by live NASA feeds. Bill used to work there.
No. I just watch NASA.
And now you can do it for free.
Right.
On NASA
used to shop
Plus.
there, and now I watch it. But never worked there.
Yeah. You can see, images from the Webb telescope. I mean, unbelievable images from the universe. Images that we can't even comprehend from the birth of the universe. By the way, somebody wrote me, they're all mad about my...
Oh, yeah.
Letters! We got letters!
Somebody named James Clark wrote me. Alan Cox must believe in unicorns and rainbows to think that everything in the human body, everything in life, just happened by itself. I didn't say that. I said I don't believe it's created by God. By the way, unicorns are very much the domain of somebody who believes in things that aren't real. Rainbows actually exist. Rainbows are a natural phenomenon.
And also, we could genetically engineer a unicorn no problem these days. You take a goat.
I wish we could because Christmas is coming up.
You
would kill it,
put it in with a horse.
Yeah.
And boom, you got a one-horned horse.
Yeah, rainbows are natural phenomena.
They are, yeah.
Sometimes you get them in double, sometimes triple. James says, this is all kind of, it gets real incoherent here, but I suppose the first upright being wasn't born inside of a womb and took care of itself from infancy all the way to adulthood, but there's a problem with that. There had to be two of them, male and female. You can see where this is going.
Yes, of course. Also, they really don't understand how long the process takes and
it's okay.
Everything that...
Seems there's a lot they don't understand, but that's okay. We're all trying to learn here. How dumb are you, Alan Cox? You are a fool. That's why the Bible says...
What? Oh, I thought this guy was going to hit us with some hard science. This took a turn I wasn't expecting.
That's why the Bible says only a fool doesn't believe in God because every single country in the world believes in God. Ah, yes. Remember that passage in the Bible about how every single country in the world believes in God? Just because millions of people believe something, by the way, does not make it true. Maybe not all the same God, James says, but believes that somebody created everything, and then there's Alan Cox.
You're the only one.
You are dumb as a box of rocks, all right? Why the box? You hear that as an insult. This guy's dumb as a box of rocks. It's funny. I don't mind it. But why the box? You get dumb as a rock. A rock. It's fine. Again, a naturally occurring phenomenon, but a box of rocks. Well, there you go. That guy is not a fan of my thoughts on whatever. He thinks I believe in unicorns and rainbows, which I don't.
You do believe in the rainbows. Mm-hmm. You don't have to believe in them. They just exist.
I was going to say, I don't believe in rainbows. They exist. Belief is for something that, it can't be replicated by science. So thank you, James. I do appreciate the letter.
A lot of people believe in it, Alan, so it's got to be the thing.
Listen, a lot of people do. If you're an atheist, you're up against it. I get it. But nobody can know anything, right? I've never said I know there's no God. I don't believe in one. There's simply no evidence to support that claim. There's a lot of people who will tell you they know there's a God. And furthermore, wouldn't you know it? They know exactly what he wants. And it always turns out to be what they want. It's so wild how that works out. It's always it's always aligned with what that person wants. Wouldn't you know it? They got a direct line. Lucky. So yes, millions of people have faith in something they cannot see. But they still allow it to control their thoughts and their behaviors. I am not one of those people. But I appreciate your letter. Thank you. People were asking me, how come you don't do prison mail anymore? It's because they took away the pen and paper.
Yeah, they don't.
It's all electronic now. I loved prison. We used to get a ton of prison mail. But they switched to digital, so it's all email now. There's no more pen to paper mailing it off. I wish. I was trying to get access to, I was trying to see if inmates could still email me. But I think with the part of the reason they switched to digital is because they can put a lot more controls on it. You know, back in the day, they were going through inmate mail. And that was probably pretty labor intensive. Now they can just scan for words, control words or words that, you know, somebody writes, hey, put this in your butt when you come see me.
See, I would just put all the, do a code where the first letter of every sentence or every line is what I'm actually telling them.
Who'd be able to break that code?
No one. It's perfect.
That's like some Dan Brown type stuff, boy. You never know what he's saying. Hey, why did he make the first letter of every sentence extra dark and bold? What is this guy trying to say? Well, it's a good question. I've got to take a break. If you might have seen the trailer for a movie called Next Goal Wins. It's based on a true story about a down-on-his-luck soccer coach who coaches the American Samoa soccer team. They got Michael Fassbender in this movie. And as Poundcake will tell you, the guy's got a real hog. Now, I don't know if that's got anything to do with the plot of this movie, but if you want to see it,